Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So this talk is a exploration, special exploration about how we can expand the space and time of our minds. I don't know whether you have this experience. Sometimes when you feel very unhappy, or maybe you feel very worked up with certain issues, then you will find that your mind is like shrunken, narrow, and unpleasant. And when you're happy, when you're full of love in your heart, then you feel that your mind is more spacious, more soft, and more comfortable. So what happened actually when we are in a negative mind or a positive state of mind? What happened? If you really observe, actually, when we feel worked up, very narrow, and caught in a very small issues, usually at that time, our mind is limited. We have very limited space. The mind gets shrunken, limited space. And the mind's concern is in a very short time frame. You don't have a far sight. You don't have. At that time, the mind is worked up with what is happening now. So if we understand, if you can notice that, you can reverse this by expanding the space and time concept in the mind. Then the mind becomes spacious. And naturally, it is incompatible with the negative state of mind. Then you'll be alright. Okay? So sometimes we only get caught in a very narrow framework of time and space. We focus on today's work, tomorrow, and maybe 1 month, next month, things like that. Your sales target, things like that. So our vision is trapped. The time frame is narrow, and our vision is also trapped. Like in this room, this city, these few encounters, these few experience, these few people that you meet, like that, very narrow. This is a narrow space and narrow time. But in the Buddha's teaching, the Buddha taught us more, further than that, about different understanding about the world. There are not only human world. There are heavenly realm, there are hell realm, ghost realm, things like that. So the space, understanding about the world, different. And then the time also, the time, the cycle of birth and death again and again and again. So our Buddhist understanding of time is infinite, almost infinite, except when you come to realize parinibbana. Otherwise, it is infinite. As long as you live in the world of arising and passing away, time is endless for you. So you have a vast. So if you can stay out from your present problem and see like that, then your mind and space expand. Then you notice that the problem that you hold in your mind no longer enslave you so much. So in the Buddhist practice, we have a certain like mindfulness of death, marana nusati or marana sati, both are correct. Or the recollection of past life, pubenivasa nusati, or dependent origination, paticca samuppada. These are the practice that very effectively help us to expand the time and space in our mind. So, but not only that, we also use some skillful means. We can also use some skillful means. Before you reach up to such a level of practice, you can also, using skillful means, expand the time and space in the mind. And in the Pali Canon, it is given that Sabba disa anantaga, sabba kala ananta. All directions are infinite, all times are endless. The Buddha said that. The Buddha said that. It tells us about, the Buddha already mentioned about time and space. All directions are infinite. You cannot find an end to it. So in that sense, it is vast. Our understanding about space is very vast. All times are endless. You cannot find time. But yes, in another occasion, the Buddha said, if you want to end time, actually is achievement of parinibbana or nibbana, because nibbana is not arising and passing away. In terms of the modern science discovery, we see the perspective. Our Earth is just a small, tiny spot in the universe. And our being as a person is just so tiny, out of all the beings. So we can, if you can understand this, then your mind, even without coming to high practice, you can feel, you can rightly see the perspective of yourself in the world. Then you don't easily get worked up so easily. Let's see a video. So sometimes we expand our vision, try to understand from the perspective of the universe. So who are we? Where are we? So we don't get so worked up. We are just a tiny spot there, like that. So when you talk about space and time, we don't only talk about like that. We also see in terms of our consciousness how we understand time and space. That's very important, because that's directly affect how we live our life, how we see our experience of our life, how we understand and read the experience of our life. Okay. So in the Buddhist practice, it's not only about the space. The Buddha talk. In fact, this is only one aspect, only the physical one aspect only. In fact, there are different dimensions. For example, in fact, in Buddhist, our understanding of space is beyond this. Not only that, actually there's a world within a world. A world within a world. That's why sometimes people can see other beings. Certain people have special eyesight. They can see other beings. And practitioners also can see. Sometimes if they develop their mind powerful enough, then can see. Devas, Brahmas, hell, hungry ghosts, and asuras. Yeah. So these are also another aspect we understand about space. So we talk about the time concept. In the Pali we say kana. Kana means a split of second. I don't know how to count. Some people go and estimate. But sometimes people say it's 1 upon 75, but I don't think that's true. It's much faster than that, kana, much faster than that. So actually it's very fast, very, very fast. So in the Pali it says kane upajati, kane rujati. In each moment it arises, in each moment it ceases. So it's very fast. And also when we talk about the length of the very vast time, we talk about kappa. Kappa is very long, very long. How long we cannot say. So long. That's why analogy, people ask Buddha, how long is a kappa? The Buddha say, it's like a mountain with a solid rock. One whole big mountain is a solid rock. 7 miles high, 7 miles wide, 7 miles long. If a person were to stroke this mountain once in every 100 years with a piece of silk cloth, and until the mountain will be completely worn away, then even that also 1 kappa not yet pass. Before 1 kappa will pass. So to that extent, so the time concept is so long. So in the samsara, the rounds of birth and death, the suffering we have gone through, the length of time we have gone through is actually cannot count. You cannot count. So the Buddha say, kappa bhikkhave digo, naso sukaro sankatung etakani wasani wa etakani wasat satani wa. a kappa, sometimes translated as kalpa, no? A kappa. Months is long. It is not easy to count it as so many years or so many hundreds of years. So difficult. Huh? So the vast perspective of time is very important for us sometimes to understand how much joys and sorrows have you gone through, so that you know that this endless play of time events, so that we can see from that perspective, is it meaningful? You still want to grasp onto it? Yeah, like that. So this understanding naturally leads us to a sense of detachment from the concerns. You can see time in that perspective. So fast, so moment to moment. At the same time, you see, such a long period of time that we have gone through. That if we don't get liberation, don't enter Parinibbana, you continue to go through. So this understanding is important. It helps us to see things in the right perspective of time and space. So just now we talk about when you see the moment-to-moment arising and passing away of phenomena, and you imagine, you're thinking, this I know is arising and passing away moment-to-moment. These are two different things, two different levels. By the time you can penetrate it moment-to-moment, like that, thousands and millions of times, very fast, you cannot count. That one is not, but you can see, with concentration you can see. And then, it is very powerful for purification. Because by the time your mind can shine and penetrate this arising and passing away to that extent, your mind must be endowed with the 37 requisites of enlightenment, or the 7, especially the 7 factors of enlightenment. And you have such a wonderful, powerful mind, taking the impact of such a powerful reality, then the purifying effect happens. Now, that purifying effect goes up to your mind, sink into your mind. It's not the kind of suppression that you can have. Okay. So the space concept the Buddha mentioned actually is about like how many thousand small worlds in the medium world, and then the universe, and then the big universe. The concept is so vast. I think it could be more than the scientific understanding. So the Pali, Trisaha Sara Mahasahasra Lokadatu, such a long, 3,000 great 1,000 word system. Cannot legal translation. So vast. This idea telling us about this, the Buddha told us about this, is not to satisfy your curiosity. It's for us to really understand, to go beyond this narrow self, conceptually and experientially. As far as the moon and sun revolve and light up the direction, so far extend the 1,000-fold world system. Okay, that's what is given. But there's more than that. This 1,000 world system, and more. I think go beyond the galaxies. So not only is vast, the world, the Buddha, our worldview is not only vast only, but also a superimposer, the world within the world, like the ghost world and our world is still very near, not far, not very far, very near. But just because of different dimensions, the human don't easily perceive this level until they practice certain skills of concentration. Then another one is our time, our life go through different all kind of impermanence through time. Through time, our life change. All impermanent, life change. Our life is impermanent. Change from one stage to another stage, from childhood until old age. So in the Pali, the Buddha says, Sabbe Sankhara Anicca, Sabbe Sankhara Dukkha, Sabbe Dhamma Anatta. Why anatta is Dhamma? Because this Dhamma includes Sankhara and also includes the Nibbana. Nibbana is anatta, but not anicca, not dukkha. All conditioned things are impermanent. All conditioned things are suffering. All phenomena are without self. All phenomena includes conditioned things and also includes unconditioned Dhamma, which is Nibbana. Just now that one was a bit not so bad. This is the one. This is more real. This video more real, I think. Just now that one, with 100 years or so, like a bit kind, make kind lady, old kind lady, and look not so bad. but this time can be more, all the wrinkles. Actually, the real life, the samsara, the flow of life, is more than this. This is only one life. The real thing that we have gone through in samsara, sometimes it's in hell, in animal realms, in the asuras, in hungry ghosts, petas, all sorts of life, nagas, all sorts of life, is worse than this. This is not so bad. You don't see how they get torture, suffering. You have not seen this yet in life. Samsara is not only this. Much more than this. Thousand and thousand million times more than this. The pain and horrible things, So I have not chosen the most horrible, torturous video for you. But, otherwise you cannot sleep, you cannot eat. Horrible. So we have witnessed this illustration about this in simple perspective only. This is not to make you feel sad or what. This is to make you try to have a sense of reality so that you have a sense of urgency. So in the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha says, Marana sati bhikkhave bhavita bhaurikata mahapala hoti maha nisangsa amato gada amata parayasana. It means mindfulness of death, when developed and cultivated, is very fruitful and beneficial. It culminates in freedom from death and ends in freedom from death. It culminates, it brings us up to, it can give us great benefit. Great benefit. But we need to understand the Buddha's teaching in the right context. Sometimes people say, oh, these are okay, I do Marananusati is enough, I don't need to do Vipassana, don't need to practice Samatha. Just this enough. Not really. This is one of the Samatha practice, Maranasati, to support, spur you on. It doesn't go to overrule to say that the 7 purification is not necessary. Don't get it wrong. So sometimes people don't understand. Every way also good, but you need to know the science. If I say there's a lot of steps, a lot of ladder or staircase, that can lead up to the top story. I said this also can lead up to that. But it doesn't mean doesn't need to go through the ascending process. So you need to understand, otherwise you misunderstand the Buddha's teaching. See? So when we talk about this, it's like a change, continuous change. One link up to the another link until you get a change. So when the Buddha say, oh, this will lead up to Nibbana, this will lead up to Nibbana, every chain leads up to Nibbana. And if you misunderstand the Buddha's words, you hold on to one what we call that? A part of the chain. And you hold on to it, and this alone will lead up to Nibbana. I don't need to go on to the others. Then you are wrong. You need to understand the suttas not in a fragmented way. You need to see as a whole. The 7 purification. One purification leads up to another purification until Nibbana. Okay? So, please, don't get it wrong. If you want to catch any Buddha's teaching like that, you're going to misguide yourself. Aho watanhang tadantarang jiveyang yadantarang asasa pasase bhagavato sasanang manasi kareyang bahuvata me katang asa. Oh, if I will only live as long as it takes to breathe out after breathing in, or to breathe in after breathing out, I will focus on the Buddha's instruction and I could really achieve a lot. Cherishing this will make you, when you practice like that, not only think about, life is uncertain, death is certain. That's also part, that's also Maranasati. But if you care so much that if I can only breathe in only one more breath, I focus on it, care about time, that will be very, very beneficial. This is a good good practice. Not only day, one day, I would like to live one more day, one more night to focus on the Buddha's teaching. Not only that, you focus on the Buddha's teaching, even one more breath, I want to focus on the Buddha's teaching. To that extent, you cherish your life. If you practice this recollection of death to that extent to make you cherish every single moment, then you are very successful in the practice. Very good. You achieve the purpose of this practice. So you should train like this. We will live diligently. We will keenly develop mindfulness of death for the ending of defilements. So mindfulness of death is meant to arouse in us the sense of urgency, samvega, so that we know how to cherish every single moment. We care about how we cherish our time, our life. So you talk about Marana Sati. If you really practice, you know the certainty of death, the uncertainty of the dying time, then the helplessness of death, dying time. That the body is very weak, very easy to be very weak. You can have yourself so weak. So that's why the last thought moment is not easy when you're dying. That's why it's not easy. Thinking is easy, but when you come to actually facing it, because the body is so weak,
Recording in progress.
not easy to guard the mind. And then also the life is very brief, very short. People nowadays think 100 years is very long. Huh? They don't care so much. Huh? In fact, during the time when the human have 6,000 years lifespan, a different era, human life can be very long. Can even up to 100,000 years. Huh? Human life can go up to that. That's the different time lifespan. Huh? At one time, our Bodhisattva was a king. Okay. That means Gautama Buddha, when he was a Bodhisattva, he was a king. At that time, humans have 6,000 years as a lifespan. Huh? He kept reminding the people, his population, he kept reminding, life is short, our life is so short. Huh? Strive on diligently. We only have 6,000 years to live. Please strive on diligently. Nowadays, 100 years also, people don't feel the shortness, the briefness of our life. You have to think about it. And then also the impermanence of life. That thing can change. Our mind and body arise changing every single moment. Otherwise, you won't get old. And then no one will accompany you when you die. Die is very lonely. Yeah, but in those days, the emperors in China, they are so afraid of dying lonely. They make their concubines, their wives, all die, go and die with them. That's foolish. Still, you're lonely. Not for when you die, you die. You get reborn, you get reborn. Not by making people dying with you. Yeah, you can avoid that loneliness of death. Not possible. And then the separation. When you die, you separate from what you love most. Separation. And then you have to face the consequence, the result, the vipaka of the karma, the result of the karma. So when we do this, we realize the reality. The reality of this, the briefness of our. So our understanding about time also change. We think that we imagine we live forever like that. We cannot let go of little things. So this Maranusati is to switch our perception about time. Our understanding that now we are very good, are very strong, very healthy. Not like that. Look at our Bodhisattva. He was so smart, so wise. When he saw the old man, he already he asked his charioteer, his company, Chanda, will I get old? Oh, yeah, you will also get old. Then his pride of youth disappeared immediately. Then when he met the sick man, then will I get sick? Oh, sure, you will get sick also. You are human. Human all get sick. Oh, then the pride of health disappear. Oh, I'm healthy, I'm young, I'm healthy. This disappear. Pride of youth disappear. Pride of health disappear. And when he saw the dead man, the corpse, then the pride of life disappear. Then I'm living. I feel very proud I'm living. This pride of life disappears. No longer feel so great that I'm leaving. Know that you'll die. Then because of that, they gave him the urgency. In the Pali, ayang kayo anicca vedana anicca sanya anicca sankhara anicca vijnana aniccam. This body is impermanent. Feelings are impermanent. Perceptions are impermanent. Mental formations are impermanent. Consciousness is impermanent. So if a person develop the Pubbanivasanusati, the recollection of past lives as a psychic, you can see such a long. Not only the time the time concept in the mind get expanded. Actually, the space also get expanded. Why? Because when you recollect like that, the mind covers a long range of time, and through this long range of time, you must have gone through various realms. Your understanding about space will be different, very different. Okay. So this recollection of past life can go far, far away, long time. We look at what the Buddha described in the Pali. So aneka vihitang pubenivasang anusarati. Seyatidang ekampi jating dvepi jatiyo tisopi jatiyo chatasopi jatiyo panchapi jatiyo dasapi jatiyo visampi jatiyo tingsampi jatiyo chatalisampi jatiyo panyasampi jatiyo jati satampi jati sahasampi jati sata sahasampi anekepi sangwata kape anekepi vivata kape anekepi sangwata vivata kape. He recollects his manifold past lives. That is 1 birth, 2 birth, 3 birth, 4 birth, 5 birth, 10 birth, 20 birth, 30 birth, 40 birth, 50 birth, 100 birth, 1,000 birth, 100,000 birth, many eons of cosmic contraction, many eons of cosmic expansion, many eons of cosmic contraction and expansion. Amutra Singh Evang Namo, Evang Goto, Evang Vanno, Evang Maharo, Evang Sukha Dukkha Pati Sangvedi, Evama Yuparyanto, So Tato Chutto Amutra Udapading. There I had such a name, belonged to such a clan, had such an appearance, such was my food, such my experience of pleasure and pain, such the end of my life, passing away from there, I re-arose there. So for the recollection of past life, if you develop it as a psychic, you can go through like that. But for dependent origination of seeing past life, they see the cause and effect. What cause produce what's effect. Slightly different. But psychic is very, very powerful, very powerful. But for insight knowledge, it is a dependent origination that gives you the wisdom. So this, it gives us direct experiential evidence of the continuity of consciousness beyond death. But that continuity doesn't mean it doesn't arise and pass away. The consciousness arises and pass away, but in such a flow that as if it is continuous. Okay, don't get it wrong. So that when you experience that, there is not a belief of faith, but direct knowledge. And it reveals the workings of karma across lifetimes, showing how action in the past lives create conditions and for the rising of a result in the present life. And most importantly, the recollection of past life expands our sense of identity beyond the narrow confines of one single lifetime. We begin to see ourselves not as a permanent entity or individual, but as a vast stream of consciousness, arising and passing away in a flow through countless existence. So evang samahite chitte parisuddhe parayodate anangane vigatu pakkilese mudu bhute kamaniye tite anenja pate pubbenivasanusati Nanaya chittang abhiniharati abhininameti. When his mind is thus concentrated, purified, bright, unblemished, rid of defilements, pliant, malleable, steady, and attained to imperturbability, he directs and inclines it inclines the mind to the knowledge of recollecting past lives. So when our mind can flow through such a vast, such a time, you can notice you no longer hold on to things so much. No. Gain and loss, success and failure. You'll be more aloof, more transcendental in your perspective and your attitude towards all the challenges in your life. And then you can free up a lot of bondage. So the understanding of the samsara actually free up our mind, our limitation of our mind. You'll be more forgiving, more embracing of the world, of other people's mistakes, of your own mistakes. You cannot be so proud that to look down on other people. Oh, you're so evil, you're so bad. No. Some of our students who recently gave me a report, who have seen long life. She told me, Bhante, through this samsara, we have done all sorts of things. Cannot count all the terrible things. But I told her, tell me, write down for me, so that I can tell in the Dhamma talk. She said, no. I still have a self. You don't have the self, you just tell. Whatever mistake you have done, tell. Let everyone learn from it. Actually, stories sometimes is very interesting. Tell us. But she won't tell because she knows I will share in the Dhamma talk. She wouldn't tell. I also won't share your name. But what to do? So the self is still there. Not easy to conquer the self. Don't think that, by the time you see all these past life, you surely must be selfless. Not so easy. Because sometimes they fall into the recollection of past life as a psychic. But if you really dependent origination, if you really practice up to thoroughly dependent origination, it's just phenomena only, cause effect. Why we want to hold on to it in my past lives? So you still have the feeling that my past life, no, practice not good enough. The dependent origination wisdom is not good enough. Need to practice further. Not easy. Not easy. To conquer the sense of self is not easy. You still have a self to protect. Yeah. Jati pe dukkha, jara pe dukkha, marna pe dukkhang, soka perdewa dukkha, domana supaya sape dukkha. Birth is suffering, aging is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief and despair are suffering. Okay. Imasming sati idang hoti, imasupara idang upajati, imasming asati idang nahoti, imasa niroda idang nirojati. When this exists, that comes to be. With the arising of this, that arises. When this does not exist, that does not come to be. With the cessation of this, that ceases. Okay? It's no even anything you look at, anything happen because of something, right? Because previous something, you get a book, someone make a book, create the paper. So how the paper comes about? Someone go and cut the tree or bamboo or whatever. So these are what we mean. This, because this. These are all dependent origination. Everything is dependent originated. Okay? Or sometimes even you want to use the word interdependent. That's also correct. Not to say wrong. So when we talk about seeing the dependent origination, that this exists, that comes to be, this arise, that arise, that's not sufficient. Because the time span that we go through may not be long enough. So in the Buddhist practice of Paticca Samuppada, there are 12 links. 12 links. Because of ignorance, the formation comes to be. Formation, consciousness comes to be. So in the chanting every day we do, avijja pacaya sankhara, sankhara pacaya vijnanam, that go through the past to present to future. Past, from the ignorance and the formations, is the past, produce a present life consciousness, and then up to the existence. Existence, there are two aspects. Then birth and old age. There's a future life. So when you go through this from one life to another life, then your understanding about the dependent originations becomes more profound and directly affecting your understanding of your own life. So this is very important. So this from past, to present to future. This is very, very powerful. Sometimes people also want to talk about momentary rising and passing away. But this is not enough. Not enough. It is powerful, but it's also at certain stage of vipassana, you need to see moment to moment arising and passing away. That's okay. It's important. But to have more profound understanding about cause and effect, you need to go through three from past life to present life to future life. Okay. And the one we see from one lifetime, from birth to old age, that's also helpful, but not powerful enough. Yo paticca samuppadang passati, no dhammang passati. Yo dhammang passati, no paticca samuppadang passati. What does it mean? One who sees dependent origination sees the Dhamma. One who sees the Dhamma sees dependent origination. So if you don't practice to see dependent origination, how? How to see the Dhamma? The Buddha told Venerable Ananda, beings cannot get liberated because of not seeing paticca samuppada, this dependent origination. So many beings, there's no way to get out of, cannot get liberation because they don't see dependent origination. So dependent origination is such a profound reality that need to be penetrated. Okay, so this seeing that things are interrelated and impermanent, the nature. And during this cause and effect relationship, in between, you don't see a permanent soul. So seeing dependent origination helps us to overcome a lot of wrong view. But not uprooted, you need to have a Maṅgala, the path knowledge to get to uproot the defilements completely. But it helps us a lot. When you have the dependent origination knowledge, is it possible to have permanence view? No. Is it possible to have the annihilism? How to pronounce it? They told me not to pronounce nihilism, nihilism or something like that. Nihilism. That word. The pronunciation is nihilism or something like that. I remember Sally as he taught me once. So this one, this life died and no more, everything is finished. That wrong view also can be overcome if you practice dependent origination. And also the self also. When you see dependent origination, you cannot see a soul transmit from one life to another life. No, it is a consciousness arising and passing away in a flow. Not a soul, permanent entity that flow from one life to another. Not like that. So that gives us another deeper understanding of anatta, non-self. There's no self in dependent origination phenomena. There's no self. There's no self. You can see all is just processes. Okay. So what does it mean when you can do like that? Can you see like that? It helps us realize the futility of the uselessness trying to attach to the past experience, future experience, and present experience. There's nothing to attach to past, present, and future. Nothing to attach. The real dependent origination, understanding, wisdom, will produce this effect. If anyone say, I can see past life, I don't see future life, but you don't feel that strength, then you need to practice dependent origination further. Okay, that means the knowledge of dependent origination is still quite lacking. But don't over. This is important knowledge, but still fall short of eradicating defilements. To eradicate defilement, you need to practice it so thoroughly up to the stage of path fruition, path knowledge. Okay. Atitang namagamaya napatikan kya anagatang. Yara atitang pahinantang apatancha anagatang. Pachupananja yo dhammang tata vipassati. Okay. So in the Bhattikarata, or there are a few suttas in the Majjhima Nikaya, it says, let one not trace back the past, nor long for what is yet to come. What is past is left behind. The future is as yet unreached. Whatever quality is, whatever that is happening present, he clearly sees right there, right here. Here, you see clearly. This leads us to talk about in the Buddhism why we care so much about living in the present moment. Because it is this present moment that can make a change. That's relevant in terms of transforming our life. Because only now we can create new causes. Past and future cannot. Only now we can create new causes. And it is the new causes that actually make our life change. Okay? So, when we talk about living in the present moment, some people misunderstand. Oh, why you recollect the past? Past is meaningless. Over already. Don't bother. Wrong. The Buddha say in the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, the Buddha, here you can read up yourself in the chanting book. The third part, the three part the Buddha talk about non-self. The last part the Buddha say, see as they really are with past 5 aggregates, future 5 aggregates, present 5 aggregates. And in fact, it's given in the Bhattikarata Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. Same, the Buddha said. And also explained by Mahakachana and confirmed by the Buddha also in the same way. The meaning of living in the present moment is actually telling us not to go through, not to attach to past, future and present, rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vijnana, the materiality, the rupa, the vedana feeling, sanya perception, sankhara mental formations, and vijnana consciousness. So, and also in another sutta also say the similar thing, but referring to 6 sense laws experience, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So it means the same thing basically. It means our experience, our life, our world. Okay. So when people say you practice vipassana only on present object, but if you really know Abhidhamma, the mind doesn't see itself arising and passing away. It's only one mind observing another mind arising and passing away. So when you practice Cittanupassana, can the mind see itself impermanent? No. Only one mind can take another mind as object. So can you see the presently arising mind? No. Actually, it's all in the record. You're seeing the phenomenon only. So the present mind see the past mind like that, or see the projection of future mind like that only. So please understand when we talk about living the present moment, you need to understand in this perspective only it is a right understanding of the Buddha's teaching. So all this, the Buddha's teaching is to make us have a sense of urgency. Then in the Bhattikarata Gata, the Buddha further says that Ajeva kicha matapang ko janya marnang suwe nahino sangarantena mahasenena machuna. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come. Who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep. There's no bargain with the Mara, the death Mara. To tell them, keep him away or his army away. You cannot. You cannot. So with this understanding, we develop wisdom and we develop compassion about seeing phenomenal reality of life, give us a lot of deep understanding and give us the kind of deep feelings and towards others. So this kind of expanding time and space in the mind is very helpful when we do counseling, helping people. When you see people get worked up and caught up with a very tiny thing or engrossed in that kind of so narrow issue, then if you notice that you just need to find whatever skillful means, expand the time and space in the mind of that person. You can notice that very, very easily you can help the person free up the bondage. Free from the bondage. Get free from the bondage. In fact, I had myself twice. Very, very, I would say, dramatically or very crucial change of my life. At one point, at about 13 years old, between 13 and 14 years old, that age, I had just one day, just a thought arose in my mind. What kind of person I want to become when I grow up? That changed my mind. Immediately I realized I don't have sufficient family education, and then the way I behave was bad. Then I decided to change. I read up a lot of self-help books and transformed myself. And then the second time in my second year of my university days, one day I thought, 30 years later, when I look back at what I'm doing now, will I be satisfied? Will I feel okay, contented with it? Happy with my own decision now? Or I would think otherwise. That thought changed my life. Then I decided, all the glories, all the worldly gains, all the vanity means nothing to me when I get old. Then now it's already past 30 years already. 32, 33, 33, 34 years already. Since then. So long already. And I was happy. I had that thought, and then that changed my life. Because of why? Because of the time and space in the mind. Especially time. Understanding of time. Because you no longer see so narrow. You see far. Okay? That give you have a true perspective of life. Okay? So hopefully with this sharing, hope can help you higher vision about your own life and don't get caught up with pettiness. Idang me punyang asawa kaya wahang hotu. Idang me punyang nibbana sa pacayo hotu. Mama punya bagang sabba sattanang bhajemi. Te sabbe me samang punya bagang labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.